Hello there, everybody. Before I get to the meat of this whole video, I want to talk about a few things first. I will be asking a lot of questions, and those questions you will most likely know the answer to, and they are just to further prove my statements. The other thing, all of you people that are huge Rockstar fans, Rockstar fanboys, the people who, when they hear anybody say anything good or bad about Rockstar, they have tunnel vision. A lot of people don't understand what I mean when I say that, so I think a visual representation of that will definitely help those people who do not know what I mean. This is how you see. This is how they see. They do not see the whole picture. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the first thing. Rockstar did not implement a feature, a fundamental feature in the game correctly at all. That is without question. And that is the save feature. And before you say, hey, listen, the game saves, it's not saving the cars / characters online, forget all that. You're missing the whole point. It does not save. Did you guys know that The Legend of Zelda, which came out in 1986, before you even say anything, it came out in 86 in Japan, 87 in the US, okay? Well, did you know that in that game, it had a feature, and that was that you were able to save your game. And guess what? It worked. Now, let's take it back further. Did you know that in 1980, a video game came out that was called Zork for the PC, and you know what you could do in that game? You could save. 1980. Let's take it back even further. In the arcade cabinet, Space Invader, which came out in 1978, did you know that it actually saved your high score? So, oh, it is just unbelievably funny and true that games that came out decades and decades before before a game that came out in 2013 called Grand Theft Auto 5, that features in those games actually worked better than a game that came out decades and decades later. You guys want to know another fact? You know, this is another thing that I'm going to mention in this video. All I'm going to mention in this video is facts. Do you know why I love facts? And do you know why I'm going to just talk about facts? It's very simple. Because you cannot argue with facts. The internet is full of people who have a lot to say, and it's usually the most ignorant people who are the loudest of all. But when you have facts, there's nothing to say. So if you combine all of those games that I mentioned, the programmers especially, and the QA testers, which in Zork's case was basically a handful of people, if you gather all those people that worked on the game together, did you know that it would not even equal 1/5 of the people that worked on GTA 5? The QA people, the testers. It's unbelievable. But it's the truth. Rockstar Games, on behalf of myself, and on behalf of the thousands and thousands of people that were fucked over by your actions, I just have to say that. Fuck you. So I want you, Rockstar, and I want everybody watching this video to, if you don't know, take a look at the end credits of GTA 5 and take a look at the long, and I do mean long, list of people who worked on that game. Take a look at the programmers and definitely take a look at the testers. And say to yourself, hey, don't you think one person in that game, at least one person in that game said, hey, my car is not saving. Hey, especially online. Online is a whole other issue. Hey, when I play online, my character is not saving. My level is not saving. All of the work that I have done is not saving. Etc. Etc. The list goes on to what they did not implement correctly. Think to yourself, do you not think at least one person said that? Of course they did. Listen, the fact is, the people who make Rockstar games are not dumb. They know what they're doing. So then you think to yourself, well, why did they release a game that they knew was going to be having problems, and not just any problems, a fundamental problem? Listen, I'm going to say that again so people really understand. A fundamental problem. The answer to that question is very simple, actually. The question again is, why would they release a game that they know had these fundamental problems? It's actually very, very easy. But for the ignorant people who are definitely not educated, they possibly cannot and maybe will not figure it out. And listen, I hate to teach people things because I love for them to find things out on their own. Don't take my word for it. Research it yourself, and then you're going to come to the conclusion. But I'm going to give everybody just a little taste. You see, if you know anything about business, let's go farther than that. If you know anything about video games, let's go farther than that. If you know anything about video game history, let's go farther than that. If you know anything about video game business, you know that there's quarters. First, second, third, fourth. Listen, there's always due dates. There's always deadlines. But again, I say, to miss out on a fundamental feature? They're just saying that to us. Again, I say, fuck you, Rockstar Games. And I'm going to end the video by saying this. The reason that Rockstar released a game which they knew was tremendously flawed was because they do not. And ladies and gentlemen, you can figure out the rest.